If I were to ask you, what does your pre-run activation, your pre-run warm-up look like? Would you feel guilty? Or would you have an answer? So I'm Dr. Spencer Agnew. I'm a physical therapist and run coach, and I've worked with thousands of runners. And the most common response I get to that question is, I don't really do anything. You put your shoes on, you hop out the door, and you head out for your run. So if that's you, you're normal. It's okay. But what I want to do today is I want to help give you a framework, an idea of what you could do as that pre-run warm-up, as that activation, and to calm your nerves that there's a perfect routine, because there isn't. So there's 3 things that I like to look at. So let's take a look. The 3 things that we have to check the box of with regards to our pre-run warm-up is it has to be for you, it has to give you feedback, and it has to be consistent. So let's talk about all 3 of these and why they're important. So for you, your warm-up needs to be specific to your needs. That's both from a timing standpoint. Some of us don't have a lot of time to warm up before we run, right? We live busy schedules, we have family lives, we have work, we have other things going on that we have to keep this short and sweet so that we can get into our run and get that taken care of. On the other side, we all have different limitations, different impairments, right? Sometimes we have a nagging Achilles injury. Sometimes it's our hip that always gives us trouble. So for you means that we need to target the areas that you need targeted, right? So it's not like a workout warm-up routine for me is going to be the best one for you or for your neighbor or for your running partner, right? You have to do what's best for you as an individual. So your warm-up needs to be individualized for you. I'm going to give you a huge list here in just a little bit of different things that you can do from the floor, standing with a band, walking, dynamic stuff, and you can pick from that whatever feels good for you. So the beneficial thing, the biggest thing to do here in a little bit is follow along, to try the movements to see, hey, this one feels good, this one feels bad, this one I might have a limitation in, maybe I should do more of it, and then help design your own program based off of the huge list of things that I give you here in a little bit. The other thing it needs to do is it needs to give you feedback, right? Every day is not created equal. You're not going to feel the same every day of the week. But if you can do this warm-up routine, you might be able to feel, yeah, that hip that's giving me some troubles, today it actually feels pretty good. Maybe I can run a little faster. Maybe I don't need as much of a warm-up before this workout as sometimes I do early in the morning. Or on the other side, maybe I'm feeling kind of creaky today, feeling a little bit irritated. Maybe I need to do some more banded exercises for my hip to get some more activation, some more blood flow, some more warm-up before I head out for my run. Or maybe the workout you had planned today, you should shift to tomorrow, right? This routine, this warm-up routine that you do should give you feedback on where your body is today, right? It gives you feedback on how you're feeling, how you're recovering from the workouts you've done the past few days, and maybe what you should or shouldn't do on a given day, right? And the last thing is it needs to be consistent, right? The only thing that matters is doing things over and over and over again. Like the progression that you have in your running is not done by what you do on a given one day. It's how many days you can do that one thing, right? So your warm-up routine doesn't matter if you do it one day a week. We want to simplify it then to be able to do it every single day, just built into your run. This is part of your routine. Okay, so 3 things you need. You need to do something that's for you, that gives you feedback, and that you can do consistently. Okay, there's no perfect routine. This is the perfect routine for you. Okay, if you have questions on that, drop some comments. We can have a discussion, go into a little bit more detail on that in more videos. For now, what we should do is let me show you a large array of different movements. I'm going to start on the floor, do a lot of hip and banded movements. I'm going to stand and do some different banded movements there, and then I'm going to do some dynamic movements, walking, different skips, hops, things like that. How you do these depends on where you are for your run, right? Sometimes when I'm at home, I can do the floor stuff, I can do the banded stuff. But if I'm on the road meeting a friend at a trail or something, I might not have brought my band with. Maybe I forgot. I keep a band in my car, so I always have one. But maybe you forgot it, right? So you have to do some more of the other dynamic movement-based ones. Whatever's best for you, again, follows our criteria of for you, feedback, and consistent. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's do our floor routines first. So I have a band and a yoga mat set up. First thing we're going to do is we're going to do some nice easy bridges. You can do these with a band around your knees or without, but all we want to do is raise our hips up and down, and trying to keep our back nice and flat, push through our hips and come up and down. I raise my hands off so that I don't have to support myself. I get more load through my core and through my hips. And you can do this double leg or single leg, make it a little bit more challenging. You can do this as holds. You can press and hold and back down. You can press and hold and back down. That's an easy way to start to get some work through the hamstring and the hips. Next, we can do some hip circles. So if I'm here and I'm using my hip that's closest to you, I can keep that at a 90-degree angle and then circle forward and circle backwards. Generally, I would do 5 to 10, nice and slow, and just work through some of that hip mobility. Next is fire hydrants. So same position, convenient. Keep that knee at a 90 and drive that heel up to the ceiling. Squeeze your hips, squeeze your glute, and just go back and forth. You can put a band on here and do it with banded resistance. Maybe you start without, and then make sure we do everything on both sides, okay? I just showed you a donkey kick. Let's reverse it to a fire hydrant. So donkey kick here, fire hydrant out to the side. Okay, same thing. Band can be around, moving out this way with that fire hydrant, and then the one where you drive your heel up to the ceiling is a donkey kick. Last one, a little bit more advanced, a little bit more challenging, is going to be this side kick. So my leg is straight out towards you. I'm either lifting up in the air, challenging, or forward and back, challenging. That can be a little bit more of an advanced one. So if you like the floor routine, do your bridges, double leg, single leg, do your hip circles forward and back, your fire hydrants to the side, your donkey kicks back up, and then you can do those leg lifts forward and back. Okay, so that's a simple variety of floor routine exercises. See how those feel, see what feels good on your hips. Next, move this. Next, we've got some banded standing exercises. So we're gonna do 4 movements, see how they feel. First one, band around the feet. Most of you have done this, just a side step. I like it around the feet to get more activation within the hip. So tension in the band, stay nice and tall, very small steps to keep tension in the band the whole time. We don't want this side to side movement. We want to stay nice and tall, small steps. And just going back and forth. I'll generally go for time, 15 seconds one way, 15 the other. Maybe you're talking with a friend and you're just doing some of these back and forth as you're catching up before your run. Okay? Next one you can do from the same position is just a standing hip flexion. So if you look from the side and I just go up, I'm pulling tension in the band, working that hip flexor, and coming down. And I like to just lift, hold for a few seconds, come back down, switch sides, lift, hold, come back down. Okay? So our side step and our hip flexion. 2 movements we can do. Next, we can move the band around our ankles, stand on one foot, and we just reach to the side. So we have this lateral toe tap, and then we can reach back at a diagonal, straight back, and sometimes people want to reach forward or do a little half moon, 5 in either of those directions, switch side, another hip exercise, but it's single leg. So now we're getting to that single leg loading, which is running, right? Running is just a series of single leg hops, so doing some single leg warm-up activation is a good idea, okay? So we've got 3, side step, we've got the toe taps here, hip flexion. Now we're gonna do just some hip abductions. This is one that I do with my car. So I'll hold onto the side of my car. I'll be in this position and I'll just reach out to the side, hold, slowly come back. Reach to the side, hold, slowly come back. It's a harder balance movement, especially with a heavy band. So if you have to use fingertips on your car, that's okay. But we're just trying to reach out at a diagonal, tip your toe of the moving leg, put it in line with the heel of the standing leg, right? And then reach out to that side. That'll kind of give you your direction backwards, target the muscle group that we're looking to target. All right, so easy routine with a band, 4 different standing movements. I keep a band in my car. I put one in my backpack that I take my running stuff in. Whatever's convenient for you is a good idea. All right, so we did floor movements and standing movements. Now let's do some dynamic movements. One is gonna be leg swings. So again, on a fence, on your car, we're just swinging side to side. Hard for me without a vehicle here, but if I hold the wall, I'm just going back and forth. It's not trying to hurt yourself. You're just going through as much comfortable motion as you can. I'll do about 10 one way, 10 the other. Hold onto the car this way, go forward and back, flip around, forward and back on the other side. So just some leg swings, loosening things up. Then I'll do a walking knee hug. So if I'm here, I'll grab my knee, pull, take a step. I normally take 3 steps into the next one, and I lift up on this back toe. So 1, 2, 3, and up. So generally I'm taking 10 feet or so to go through this one, up, 1, 2, 3, up. If you've got a small space like this, you can just do 1, 2, 3. 1 every step is totally fine. Okay? Walking knee hugs. Next, I call them walking Frankensteins. So opposite hand, opposite leg, coming together, right? Right hand, left leg, left hand, right leg. And you're just kind of alternating back and forth. This is not a test to see how high you can get your leg. We're just trying to get things warmed up, get a little movement in. Some people do it like this, right? They're just cycling back and forth here. That's totally fine. Some of us have a little more motion. We can kick a little higher. Okay, so leg swings, knee hugs, walking Frankensteins. Next one is walking sweeps. So if I'm here, my leg goes forward, I hinge from my hips, keep my back nice and flat, and I'll sweep through and back, take a few steps, straight leg, hinge from my hips, straight back, sweep through and back. This is not trying to touch the ground. We're not bouncing here. We're trying to hinge and get a nice gentle stretch, not arch or round from our back. Okay, it's a big mistake I see a lot of people do is they'll round and reach instead of staying upright and reach. Okay. After this one, we can do our hip openers. So you can, on our hands and knees, we did some hip openers. Standing, we can do some hip openers. So here, coming back and through, and then you can also go in reverse, walk backwards, in reverse, walk backwards, in reverse. Okay? That's a lot of our mobility movements. Now we can go into some strengthening movements as a warm-up. A single leg RDL is a wonderful activation warm-up routine. We'll just go here to a high knee, reach this foot back to the wall, come back forward. Take a few steps, knee up, reach, come back forward, and cycle through that. A walking lunge with a twist is another one to be able to get into our position, load through the hip flexors, the quads, twist over top of that knee, back, and go again. Other leg, twist over top. You'll feel a stretch through that hip flexion through the side, and just back and forth. One thing I should have mentioned, for all of these, I do about 10 to 15 feet. So I'll do them down my driveway, on my sidewalk, before I head out the door. And again, we've gone through a lot. You don't have to do all of these. I would test them all, try them all, see which ones work best for you. Okay? After our lunge, we do some heel and toe walking. So on our toes, walking back and forth. Here, you can rotate. So if I walk towards you, my toes will be forward, and then I can rotate my toes in and rotate my toes out, get some calf activation. And then we can do it on our heels as well. Heels with our toes forward, toes in, toes out. Working the shin. So we can work now the lower leg. So you'll see a theme here with the muscle strength pieces. We did a hamstring hip strength. We did a quad hip flexor strength. We've done lower legs. We're just trying to touch on these different pieces to give you a variety of movements to think about and to give the chance to try out to see if it fits for you. Okay. Last two are more of a jumping based thing. So one is a rebound calf raise. So if you're holding it onto your car, single leg, just kind of bouncing up and down, one leg, or it can be 2 legs, right? We're just kind of bouncing up and down, getting a little bit of load through that calf and that Achilles tendon, that energy storage and release that we need through that tendon, just bouncing a little bit. And the last jump I'll do is just like a twist jump, just jumping back and forth. Again, that's a pretty large routine that you could try. Gives you a variety of floor movements, some standing movements, some walking dynamic mobility, which is more like range of motion, stretching type things, and strengthening things. Gives you a lot to pick from. But remember, there's no perfect routine. The best routine is the one that's for you, individualized to what you need, that gives you feedback on how you're doing that day, how you're recovering from the days prior, how you're feeling for the days ahead, and the one you can do consistently. So try to find a few movements that you feel like you can nail down, stay consistent with, and once you prove that you can stay consistent, maybe you add some more. But it's better to do less consistently than to do too much and only do it every once in a while. All right. If you have any questions, let us know. We'd love to give you some more feedback and information. Otherwise, happy running. We'll talk soon.